Preparations for Golden Ray. Well, the Golden Ray sits at a depth of just 17 feet, and it's anchored in a shallow depth, like on a sandbar. While the port is still closed, I mean, some ships were able to get around the ship. Some vehicle carrier ships were able to get around the Golden Ray. But what's the plan on removing this giant ship? Well, they've hired. Well, they have, here's how they plan on removing this massive ship. They have a giant crane known for lifting oil rigs out of the sea. The name of the crane is the VB-10,000 or Verzabar 10,000, built by Verzabar. And it was announced that it can lift it could lift sections of the Golden Ray itself. And here's how they plan to do this. It was announced that the Golden Ray would be cut into 8 large pieces and then lifted out of the water and placed onto barges so they can be sent to Louisiana for scrapping. But this is going to be a difficult task. And how they're gonna do it, then they would use the same technique on the salvage of the Russian submarine K-141 Kursk. Yeah, but not with a cutting wire, but with a cutting chain. It's the first time they used a cutting chain on a shipwreck. But yeah, like I was saying, they would use the same technique as they did on the Russian submarine Kursk. But this ship is much bigger than the Kursk, since it has to be cut into 8 sections. And also the same technique on the Norwegian flagged roll-on roll-off carrier Tricolor and the Baltic Ace. So yeah, here's how they would plan to do this. They plan to salvage the Golden Ray salvage. They made an animated a simulation of the salvage with this technique. Here's how they plan to cut up and remove the Golden Ray. This animated video shows that how they plan to do this. Hold on. So they would place the lifting lugs and lifting frames installed, and sections 1-4 removed, and set up typical lift with VB-10,000. The cutting chain will cut a straight line onto the shipwreck and with 500 tons. And then they would lift it, and then they would be attached to the frame, And then the sections will be lifted out of the water and placed onto the barge, like for scrap. And then the barge will float away from the vessel. Although this is going to be a difficult task, they were going to do it, but however, they had to delay it because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So they had to wait like 7 months, another 7 months, to remove this massive vessel out of the water. But whenever whenever I can go to whenever we can be allowed to go to the beach, I noticed that, what is that out there? And I found out it was the Golden Ray. The same ship, well, I've heard about it, ever since it capsized, but I didn't know it was still going to be there. And they still haven't removed it yet. Yep, it's the Golden Ray. And another month later, I gave a presentation on the ship on how they're going to do this. This massive operation on the wreck. And giving up.
Hi, this is Marie, and I'm at St. Simon's Island, and this is the Golden Ray. And the ship is, and today I'll show you how it would affect, how it affects the environment around it. First of all, the ship, they started construction on December 23, 2015 in Yujin, South Korea, and it was launched on August 26, 2016. Its length is 656 feet, and its weight is 71,118 tons. So here's how the capsize ship would affect the environment. First of all, when it overturned on September 8th, 2019, it leaked oil into the pool and into the sound, causing pollution in some places in the sound. And it was during
Hey, one thing here, they drained about 300. They removed 300 gallons of the ship's bunker fuel, so they could be prepared for cutting. So yeah, here's all the cutting chains that have been placed onto the wreck, and they have removed the propeller and the rudder. You can see the propeller and the rudder are gone. Have been used as a reef. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. It will be cut in 8 sections. And the lifting frames have been attached onto the wreck. And they've also placed the protection barrier around the ship so that so they can catch all the debris or whatever comes out of the ship during the salvage.
That's not the landing kit. It's the one with the yellow thing.
yellow arch on it.
A crane is now in port of Virginia, Florida. And this is what the ship would have looked like when it was coming out of the harbor before it got capsized.
This is a ship built in
It says Arkham.
1998.
So when it
1996.
starts the removal of the Golden Ray, it will sound like this. And it will scare fish away and annoy people on the beach. And the cars that are fueled could pollute the waters more. Also, the ship is now a fish structure, but the propeller and the rudder have been removed for an artificial reason. The fish that are living on the ship they could have no habitat when they remove it. All these things cause destruction in the world. Thank you for watching this video.
Alright, so yeah, but you know, we thought it would sound like a 24-hour Ferrari. We thought the sounds that the chain would make would sound like a Ferrari. Or a Ferrari 458 Spider. But whenever they would start the first cut, and all the other cuts, but yeah, when they started removing that thing 24/7. I mean, also you could hear them working on that massive ship. So yeah, let's move on.